This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Ekow Essuman over Zoom. Echo, it's good to see you, good to speak to you. Before we come on to all the good stuff, how's life been for this last 4 or 5 days?
Thanks for having me, first of all, guys. And yeah, it didn't sink in straight away, but it's been sinking in. Life's good. Yeah, just obviously after a match, you normally rest, recover, let your body kind of balance out, and that's exactly what I've been doing. Spending some quality time with the kids and the family.
I don't know if generally this is something you do, Echo, but obviously with it just being such a big fight for you, that big name on your resume now, have you watched it back at all? Have you looked back on the fight?
Oh yeah, I've watched it back about 3 times.
On that note, then, obviously, you've had a bit of time to reflect. What do you make of the fight and your performance?
Well, yeah, but I boxed really well in terms of my shape uh and my boxing. There was certain I still give myself a B plus. There's certain things like where I broke my shape and whatnot. Certain situations where I thought, that's why you got hit by that. That's why you got hit by this, and just room for improvement, really.
You really came on strong in the second half of the fight. The first few rounds, Josh seemed to start quite sharp, accurate, but he was expending a lot of energy in doing so. As you call the engine, you was constantly trying to come forwards. Was it a surprise to you though by kind of Josh's fast start?
No, not at all. He's coming from the weight below, and so he would naturally like making weight and whatnot, he would build up muscle, he would feel like he had loads of energy and whatnot. But then the demands of a 12 round match against someone from a higher weight that you just moved into, he didn't pace himself right. And we're like my camp had been meticulously planned out. We knew he was going to start fast and hard. Um, pause. And at the press conference when he was talking about how the match might end early, he gave that away. We was like, all right, so he's gonna try for an early finish. So we prepped for it. Instead of making it, I could have easily made it just a 12 round war. Everyone would have enjoyed that. But just wanted to, as I said, I wanted to show people different quills to my different parts of my style. And yeah, so the start of the match, we started it off nice boxing, set into it, and then when my coach gave me the go ahead, it was just okay, ramp up the pressure, okay, ramp it up more, okay, now just go and go again and don't stop.
What's it like in those say those first few early rounds when again everybody knows that you're a strong engine fighter, as you know you like to come on strong towards the end, but keeping like focused on the task at hand, not allowing yourself to become discouraged by Josh's fast start. How did you stay kind of mentally prepared and switched on, knowing your time was going to come in the fight?
It's because I knew my time was going to come. I didn't know, wasn't sure how long I'd have to wait to kind of tip the scales, but I was, but it was fairly early to be fair. When I got the go ahead, and I was happy about it. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's go. If it's for war from now on, then I'm happy about that.
It was an interesting point you made in terms of being able to recognise Josh was going to start fast because obviously Jack Catterall had his press conference the other day for his Harlem Eubank fight. He mentioned he'd done some rounds with you in preparation for the Josh fight. And speaking to Jamie Moore, he said like him and Nigel and their wives were away watching it, and Jamie said after the first couple of rounds, Josh is going to fade very quickly here because he started so quickly. Was you expecting that yourself, that despite Josh's fast start, he was going to fade quite quickly?
Well, it was a question of how hard he trained. The whole psychology of it. He's been struggling at the weight below, so he feels like he needs to go up to welterweight. Um, did he train up to welterweight, or did he just relax, let his weight just go up to welterweight? Like, when people are making weight, sometimes you can even overtrain. Like sometimes you've trained, you're super fit and you've done all the work, but then your weight is you still need to bring your weight down. So that's when you go on those extra sprints, you'll go on those extra runs, you'll go on those extra strength sessions and whatnot. And it was more a question of like not taking anything away from his mindset, but having been to the top of the hill, how hard was he going to work, knowing that he didn't have to work as hard. And so that yeah, that was the psychological question in camp. But I always train hard, I always work hard, I always go above and beyond. So that wasn't in question of me. For me, it was just I was expecting the best Josh Taylor because I was expecting him to be just hungry as hell. So I was expecting a war from just round one to round 12.
When you really started to seem to gain control of the fight, Echo, there were a couple of moments where it seemed like you had Josh a little bit hurt, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word, but so it seemed like you was getting on top, and there might have been opportunities to force an early coming to the fight. Did you feel like a stoppage was presentable at any point?
At certain points I did, but I think at certain points I was also wary. He is a good counter puncher. Like don't like sometimes like I've been prone to going a bit um gung ho with when I set about people, and that can leave you open to shots as well. So cleaning that up, and that'll come when it needs to. But I didn't feel the need to go mad and get hit by silly shots whilst going for the finish. I thought, you know what, just stick to your boxing.
Obviously, one of the talking points would have been it's not in this scenario would have been the scorecards. Um, obviously, the Jack Catterall fight Josh had up in Scotland was very controversial. When you were
Yeah.
waiting for those scorecards, what was going through your mind? Was you confident that there's no doubt you'd won, or did you have nerves?
I was confident I'd won. I mean, obviously, if you feel you've won, you've won. But at the same time, like knowing what had happened before, I was just like, I know I've got this. I know I've got this. Yeah, like um, God's timing, God's hand.
Echo, as we just said off camera, obviously I've done a number of Zoom interviews over the last 5, 6, 7 years with yourself, and the common theme has been when's that big opportunity going to come? When's that big name, that big fight going to come? You had that last Saturday. I imagine it's not the last big name that you're going to want, but all of that manifesting, as you said to me, did it deliver everything you wanted and expected from a big night for yourself and for your career?
Yeah, it delivered what I expected. But obviously, you aim for the moon, you might hit the stars. Like I'm aiming for something so much more higher. So um, it's it's a step in the right direction.
I was about to ask, how much more has that whet the appetite and kind of tested the taste buds and made you want to go on even more now you've had that one big night, now you want an even bigger night?
Oh yeah, but that is definitely the case. My taste buds are definitely want a bigger night. But just like even before this match, like sitting down with my coach, and my team, we all worked out this wasn't like the night. This was the start of a path to the night. So for me, it's just this is what I need to do. This is the direction I need to go in. This is the first step. So I'm expecting harder steps, bigger steps, taller steps. Um, but that's what I want. That's what I'm asking for.
Who are you asking for in particular?
I want that Brian Norman fight. Um, I'm not too sure what's going on with Boots. It seems like he could be moving up. I want the world title. So Brian Norman, Boots, uh, throwing it out there to please the public. Conor Benn, obviously out there as well. I don't know if he'd come back to 147, but primarily I want Boots. and Brian Norman.
Just to touch on some of those names on the horizon, and obviously on the Brian Norman fight, he has a fight on the horizon with
Yes, he does.
Kentucky. So, provided he was to come through that, what has Team Warren, Team Queensbury said to you about trying to secure you that fight? Because obviously Brian promoted by Bob Arum and Frank have a very good relationship.
Yeah, they do have a very good relationship. I've been told that there's work going on in the background. I can't divulge too much, but there is work going on in the background. There are paths being formed, and just have to wait till you just see me pop up in random places.
When you say random places, will one of those less random places be a big fight, big homecoming back in Nottingham?
Oh yeah, yeah. Obviously, I'll push for that, and we have the boxes to do it.
You also mentioned Conor Benn. Now, there's obviously a lot of don't know how to word this, but there's a lot of attraction towards the Ben and Eubank names at the minute, given their recent fight. I know for the last few years, again, we've done interviews, we've spoken about the Conor Benn fight. But do you, despite thinking he might not drop to 147, if he did, do you feel like he would be willing to come and challenge somebody like yourself who, without a title, we all know you're a very difficult night's work?
Yeah, it might be too much risk for him and no reward. Uh, but I mean, as I said, it would be one to please the fans, one to please the public. I know that's the one of the first names that people always ask me about. So I can't ignore it, throw it out there. But yeah, Norman, Boots, and then Ben, I guess.
One final one I'm going to throw at you is I imagine you might be in the camp of Jack Catterall just because of your recent experiences with him when he fights Harlem Eubank. But say if Harlem Eubank was to defeat Jack Catterall, would you be open to a potential fight with Harlem Eubank? Obviously, he's at 147 now. Yeah, a lot of a lot of kind of weight behind the Eubank name.
Depends what's on the line, really. If it forges a path to exactly where I'm going, then he's in my way. It's simple as that. I want the people at the top, so whoever's in my way, they gotta go.
Just one final one to end on then. Obviously, as you chase world titles, what do you make of the whole Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios fight? Obviously, Manny, a ring legend, no doubt about it, but 4 years out of the ring, coming straight back in for a world title fight, something you're chasing. How do you, or what do you make of it, the entire situation?
Yeah, it's a bit mad. Like, for him to be away for so long and not even come back and yet he was at the best of levels, but to come straight into that title match is yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say it completely boils my blood, but it's just like yeah, yeah, come on there. But he obviously he does amazing things in this country, and he obviously used a lot of his fight purses for that. So I mean, you can't knock him for asking. It's just the fact he got it.
Echo, listen, I appreciate your time as always. I'm going to leave you to continue to enjoy this victory this past weekend. So I'm going to leave a final word to yourself. Is there anything you'd like to say, anything you'd like to leave on to everybody who would have tuned in and supported you, whether it be up in Scotland or on the zone, wherever they may have watched?
I'd just like to say, like to give a big shout out to all the people of Glasgow that were very kind and welcoming, and they were beautiful people. Shout out to Josh as well. I met with him the day after the fight. We had a little chat, and he was very respectful, and he's a cool guy. Um, I'd also like to give a shout out to all my sponsors that sponsored me for this fight, and all the people that bought tickets, traveled all the way up to Scotland, and that just show me love and support. Thanks for all the kind words and for the support.
Echo, it's a pleasure as always. Thank you for speaking to me in Boxing News.
Thanks for having me.